In the last lecture, you got introduced to AIDA, the powerful way that you were going to structure your sales copy, your Facebook posts, your emails, your blog posts, your landing pages. It's really the same formula that you can use over and over again. And really, attention is the first part of that. And where you get attention is in the headline. We learned that really headlines are 80 cents of the dollar. And this is really where you should focus your attention. And this is really where you should start the process, because it sets the expectation for the rest of the article. Now, in this lecture, what you were going to learn are 11 tips for writing magnetic headlines. You understand how important they are, so let us look at how you can actually write great headlines. And the first tip of the 11 tips is really to practice. Way back at the start of the post here, I noted down that copywriters aren't born, they practice. And that is really key. If you want to write great headlines, you need to practice. If you want more clicks, more conversions, more sales, then practicing the headlines is really important. And to help you practice writing headlines for every piece of content that you're putting out, I've included this great tool that I came across, Write 25 Headlines. I've used this for myself, and it is a really fantastic way to practice writing headlines. What you do is just come across to the headlines tab here, and then you just type in the first idea that you have for your blog post, the name of your course, whatever it is, and write it in here. Then you can write it in again, refine it, add more benefit, show how you can help them overcome an obstacle, and so on, down to number 3, the 4th iteration, 5th iteration, 6th iteration. Now there are a lot, 25 is quite a lot, but I think even if for every piece of content that you are doing at least 5 attempts at improving your headline, that will really help you. You've seen how important they are, so it's definitely worth putting in a little bit of time to refine it, to make it better, rather than going with just the first idea that comes into your head. So that is a fantastic tool. The second tip to really write magnetic headlines is to model the best in the business. Now, I've included a link to this website here, Jeff Bullis. He is a real master at writing headlines. I've come across his website and his work, and he's just really the best that I've ever seen. So I'm including his link here so you can come into his site and really get a lot of inspiration. You can see he's over 16 million readers. He's been featured in all these magazines. And I think the reason that he's been able to achieve that is his ability to write amazing headlines. Coming into the site, you'll see all of his articles here. And the first one is fantastic. The undeniable power of search engine marketing. The next one here, 11 advanced tips to be a successful digital marketer. 5 easy steps for creating a traffic driving expert roundup. 3 secret Gmail buttons. You can see that these are all viral headlines, and this is how he's been able to really get all of these type of shares, because it all comes down to the headline. This is what really makes the difference. This is what gets people to share and open things. And what you can do is come into his site here, and really you could just take the formulas that he's written out here that have been proven and use them for yourself. So 11 advanced tips to be insert your topic or the role or the person that you are really targeting. The undeniable power of just slot in your topic in there. I mean, 5 easy steps for creating whatever it is, the outcome that your buyer persona wants. I really like this guy, and I'd recommend you come in and check out the work that he does, because you can just really take those formulas that he's written and use them for yourself. Now, getting into some of those formulas, let me give you some tips as well. Tip number 3 is to really start with numbers. We saw the example there, 5 easy steps, top 15 websites, 21 actionable strategies, 7 ways to make yourself a happier person every day, 7 secrets, 7 proven, 7 reasons, 7 tips, etc. And really these numbers work really well, just like this, 11 tips, because people can see that there's a structure in place, And they can also see that there are really bite-sized content here, that things are going to be broken up into a list that's easy to read, easy to scan, and it's not going to be a big block of text or something that's going to be difficult for them to read and get through. So starting with numbers is extremely a powerful way to write a magnetic headline. Another thing that just works and still works to this day is the how-to headline. So here's an example that went very viral: how to make lavender lemonade to get rid of headaches and anxiety. So it's a how-to plus how to make whatever it is, and then really to get rid of. You can really take those words out and slot your words in. Here's a couple of other templates that you can use: how to do blank, even if, and then include that common obstacle. Here's another template that you can use: really how to do blank without common objection. And so those are some formulas that you can really use for the how-to headlines as well. Tip number 5 for writing magnetic headlines is to use punctuation. So this is a very simple technique, but really want to place your main keyword before the colon or hyphen and add your benefit headline after it. So for example, the first section of this course is called Marketing Plan Template: Create Your First Marketing Plan in 5 Steps. And this is also great for SEO. I talk about it in the SEO section of the course. Really the importance of putting your keyword at the start of the title of your page, so the search engines can really identify what your page is about. It also just helps communicate really what the topic is about, and it's great for SEO as well. So tips number 6 to writing magnetic headlines is to be ultra specific. Remember that the headlines really set the expectation for the rest of the article, so you want to define what the article is really going to be about. A bad headline would be, write a song. A better headline would be how to compose your own song, songwriting 101. So people can really see that this is for beginners, and this is going to be my own song as well. Tip number 7 to writing magnetic headlines is to flag common mistakes. So this is essentially like a list post or a numbered post, but instead of focusing on maybe the 5 ways, the 5 proven, you're talking about the 16 common copywriting mistakes that you're making and how to fix them. This is a real title here that is really great, because for mistakes, you really want to avoid those mistakes. So you want to click on that title because you want to make sure you're not making the mistakes. And if you are, well, then they're showing you the solutions. Here's another one: are you making these 10 common Google AdWords mistakes? So it's talking about mistakes, and it's kind of a question. And that is the actual next tip, is to really ask questions. So do you want to build a snowman? Read this guide first. Do you think you know SEO? Quiz yourself and find out. And questions especially are great on social media to engage people and really ask them to engage in comments as well. It's a strategy we look at in the Facebook marketing section of the course, as well as the Twitter section of the course. Now, tip number 9 to writing magnetic headlines is to use the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, why. These are really great words to articulate to your readers what the kind of information is about that you really intend to provide. Tip number 10 to writing magnetic headlines is to pay attention to the headline length. It's different depending on where you're writing it. And in fact, in this tool that I showed you, the 25 headlines, what's great about this is that he's actually broken down this tool into 3 different tabs. So first you've got the headlines. These are really for the search engines. You want to keep the length here, as is suggested, between maybe 50 and 60 characters, around 55 characters. Otherwise, the headline will get cut off in the search results if it's longer than that. If for writing tweets, you probably want to keep it around 100 characters, 120 characters. You do have 140 characters, but you want to be able to leave some space there for people to maybe add in a little note in front of your tweet if they're retweeting it, etc. And then finally, emails. This is probably the shortest headline that you have, and so you want to keep it between 35 and 40 characters. Going over that is really going to look like spam. So it's important to know that the length of your headlines is going to be really different depending on where you're writing. And what I suggest is you really start to write your headline in whichever platform you're using. So if you're writing a blog post, start to write the headline right within WordPress or your website builder, so you can really get a great sense of right from the start what the length is that you have to work with. I've done it before, and it's a common mistake, I think, to start writing a headline, you perfected it, then you bring it into maybe WordPress and you find out, oh, it's too long, and then you really have to rework the whole thing to try and make it work. Now, the final tip is to use an image to enhance your headline. As we saw earlier in this diagram up here, is that 100% of people will really see the image. People can pick up images hundreds of times faster than they will read text. So you should really use it for your posts, your Facebook posts across social media, because it really gets attention and it really communicates the headline in your picture. Now, one of the best in the business, as I said here, not only for the headlines, but in putting in the images as well that enhance and support the headlines, is this guy here. You can see the undeniable power, something very visual there. 3 Gmail secrets, they've got a kind of a secret there. 5 easy steps. The future of search engine marketing. 11 ways to use Facebook. So they're quite eye-catching images. Some of them are extremely related to the title and really support and communicate what the headline is about and what the article is about. So those are the 11 tips to writing magnetic headlines. I'd encourage you to use some of these formulas, also to look for inspiration, and finally then to practice. Remember that if you want to write great headlines, you need to practice. And I think this Write 25 Headlines tool is a great way to do that. So that really wraps up attention. We've learned how important it is, and also then how to actually implement it for yourself. In the next lecture, we're really getting into interest. It's the second part of our AIDA formula. So I'll see you there.